Now, so how will the DOJ's never-ending anti-Trump witch hunt impact the Republican primary, especially now that the GOP field is growing with former Trump Vice President Mike Pence jumping in, Trump hater Christie entering the race? Here with more, former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee and former Director of Strategic Communications, Trump Pence 2020, and former Pence Press Secretary Marc. I think you got two different cases here. Marc, we'll go to you tonight and start with you. And that is, you know, Mike Pence was the VP. In the case of Christie, he left office with, I believe, a 14% approval rating. And he seems to have indicated he only wants to run for one reason, and that's to bludgeon Trump. Not a particularly inspiring campaign slogan.
No, not at all. And, you know, look, this is a one-man race for the GOP nomination. And if you're anyone not named Trump, DeSantis has got a huge mountain to climb. All of the other candidates have a Mount Everest to climb. And if I'm one of those other campaigns, I'm hoping that Christie is going to throw haymakers and say the things I don't want to say, because that's the only way you're going to try to close the gap. But to be honest with you, Sean, the only thing I can think of when I hear of Christie is I think of that beach picture, and you just can't unsee it.
Yeah. You can't unsee it, like you can't unsee the the Obama hug during the Romney race. And you really can't forget about Bridgegate, although obviously that case, I believe, was tossed out in the end on appeal. Governor, do you see any of these candidates making headway here? And what impact do you think, if this in fact happens and there's an indictment on what we believe would be a process crime, does that impact Donald Trump's popularity with the Republican Party and maybe the country at large?
Yeah, I think his popularity goes up and his numbers go up. People see what's going on. People aren't stupid. And they clearly understand that this is an attempt to destroy Donald Trump on a personal level so they don't have to deal with him politically. And I feel that they're making a huge mistake, and everything they've done so far has backfired. It's almost like watching a Roadrunner cartoon, and Wile E. Coyote continues to try to use some Acme dynamite. It just isn't working. But I want to agree with my friend Marc. He certainly nails it. Christie is really in this not because he has a vision for being president, and I think many of the other candidates do, and they're good people. But Christie is a bitter old guy who is angry at Donald Trump. Here's the problem. Christie can't get over one thing that will destroy him, and that's Christopher Wray. People need to remember that it was Christie who urged Donald Trump to put Christopher Wray in as FBI director, and we all know how that's turned out. So if there's any reason we can't trust Christie's judgment and would not want him in the White House, just remember Christopher Wray. It's all you got to remember.
Let me ask you both this. Mike, I'll give you the first shot at it. If you're Donald Trump, he has indicated he's probably not going to be involved in primary debates. If you were advising him, would you tell him to take part in them or not?
It's not going to help him necessarily because he's 30 points ahead. He can pretty much do what he wants to do, but it won't hurt him either. I mean, one thing I think everybody saw in 2016, he can go on that stage with everybody who's had years of debate experience, and he wipes the floor because he's just freewheeling enough that he's not a candidate that goes out there with all his note cards indelibly imprinted on the back of his head. He goes in there and freewheels and basically wipes every person off that stage. And it won't hurt him, but I think he probably can create his own venues and not have to go. Look, I think the debates are a joke. I think they're game show. I don't think that they have any validity anymore. It's all about...
I think they're bad.
No, seriously, I think it's about the anchors. No, they're horrible. And I begged the RNC, went to a Chicago meeting and said, take these things away from the networks. Don't let them control it, because let the candidates run the debates. Let them speak their mind and give them a certain amount of time. Everybody gets exactly the same. I think it'd be a better process.
Quick, smart or not smart for Trump to debate?
I'd wait until it thins out a little bit and until you get just down to a few candidates so they're not all piling up on you.
Yeah, okay, good advice. Thank you both. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.